Alright, opening face-off against Breakfast Club. A long-awaited game. I wanted to shorten up the videos by really kind of highlighting the mistakes only. Normally I would show the opening face-off, but lo and behold, we get something to learn from within the first 10 seconds. So, we have the puck. It was kind of a face-off loss for Ray, but Justin has the step jump forward, which is actually a very good thing for the winger. Getting that jump and getting that puck and getting it into the zone. Now, here's the problem. He's being reserved right here, but our forwards, the follow-up, backup, are not helping him out. At this point, we should have expected Ray, probably, to get down deep so that Justin can throw it down and we can continue possession. So it should have been immediately right into the zone, flying through, and it'd be like Justin, get it down the boards, and that would have kept possession. Said everyone's staying behind, and then there you go, right? Here's a slight painful mistake right here. Carries it into the zone. We got the open space. Two covering one player. However, oh no, my goodness, is that a juicy pass opportunity? And we have lost the opportunity. So I think this is a little mistake on the D for Breakfast Club's side. So I think this is actually a very stark difference in Teresa. Pretty certain D is her main position versus Joe. I don't think D is his main position, and I'll highlight the main things right now. So you can see how Teresa's actually gapped up quite well. So the kind of key features is pay attention to like where our forwards are. This is basically the line, so she's kind of close to that line. And then once that we see that like a signal that we're going to come on the attack, you can see how boom, transitions and pivots to backwards. And so on a reasonable scale, she's going to be close to where the attack is, and here's that kind of line of attack. And as the video pans across, oh boy, Joe is off in no man's land, right? Very close, ready to have a conversation with Kev. So what does that mean? It really allows our Kevin to come in on the attack, free zone entry, all this space given. So if you can imagine if Joe was up here forming the line with Teresa, it just becomes a little bit more difficult, forces us to dump in, take the space versus right the free zone entry. So a little small mistake there in terms of positioning. Alright, let's start from this sequence. It does lead to a goal, but let's kind of break it down. Forechecking wise, maybe it works out well, and then we throw it to the middle. So that's kind of an ill-advised pass. We did all the hard work, maybe just couldn't get a handle on it, and that's fine. We get good pressure, so here's that surfing pressure, closing off that space. So I would say for Ray, he doesn't need to really focus on this player. So Kathy's coming in this way. As long as she can keep in between this player and in the middle of the ice, eventually we'll be able to kind of force him off, closing off with the D, right? It's going to be like kind of like the hammer and the anvil thing. And so what Ray needs to focus on is what are those middle options? What are the dangerous options? So it's probably going to be this player right here. And then so that can free up Eng to focus on this player. So we see that like that. So I guess it ends up being okay because Kathy does get beat. So if Ray wasn't there, he could cut to the middle. But he could maybe play that as long as he's focused on this player and then he can apply pressure, then it's perfectly fine as well. But this allows, you know, myself to be able to poke check this off and break up that play. Will almost comes in and gets it. However, it's really the key thing is all these forwards like Ray and Kathy are doing most of the heavy lifting and funneling them into an easy poke check. So that's one of the key factors for the forwards to focus on. And from here, we're able to transition back out. Alex kind of chips it ahead to Kathy. She's given a little bit of space to work with, is able to get around Athena, sees Alex briefly there, open, but kind of deflected by one of their players, and that slowly trickles out to Ray, and he's able to finish it off. So another key thing we can take a focus on is once Kathy starts coming in towards that the middle, if we have pucks coming in, so Ray, anyone that focus like initially stays on these half walls, on the half wall. Once we see that puck transitioned in, we want to start moving towards the net, and that's where we get these chances. Don't ever kind of stay out there. You stay out there to give your teammates a passing option, but once you see that puck coming into the middle, boom, crash, go into the middle, crash the net, and good things will happen. So we got the whole sequence right there. Alex to Kathy to Ray, and we are up 1-0. So here I think is maybe a mistake. So Justin carries it in. He's actually very good with his hands and passes it out to the middle. I do think he may have some if he's able to keep it along the boards and get a clear pass. So you can see both times he's trying to throw it out to the middle like this. So let's do a little rewind so we can capture that. So he has it, he's holding on to it very well, opens up, tries to throw it probably to Kev or Carrie Ann, and does it again right here. But I think even though he has that pressure, as long as he's able to kind of keep it along the boards on the second one, that would be probably better than throwing it out the middle. And then unfortunately that kind of results in a turnover. I do believe this leads to a goal against, so let's just watch it. Oh my gosh, what? Okay, so we did talk about gapping up, right, with for Breakfast Club, Joe and Teresa. Pay attention to where all the forwards are, right? Here's the line of attack. That's where we really need to focus on, and here is the tip of the spear. So Kev's kind of gapped up well enough, but our defense, lefty, is off the screen. Ernest is off the screen. Dave's like all the way back to the blue line. What does this basically mean? They have no speed. And even if a pass goes, okay, so this pass could work, this pass could work, this pass could work. Nobody's even in the vicinity, in the same time zone to get it. And then boom, walked in, and then unfortunately the best part of it was just pass to middle, but 5-hole Dave does 5-hole Dave things. Doesn't matter which goalie it is, scores 5-hole on our own goalie. So that's unfortunate. It's very funny. However, you know, our positioning on defense, you can question how much we're gapped up, which allows for free zone entry. Alright, forechecking. We're leaving a lot to be desired. So we need to put pressure, like get in their face, get in their grill. What is this spacing? Like, why are we pivoting backwards? Remember how to cut that ice in half. We're trying to chop it in half. We're trying to prevent this pass across. Sometimes it'll happen. And we're trying to force them up the wall. So one of the forwards needs to do that. We're going to try to cut that space in half. We've gone over this in the past a few times. And then the jobs of the other one is, if you cut the ice in half, what does that mean? We need to cover the middle option and we need to cover the boards options. And if that ever transitions to the other side, we repeat the same thing. So number one, we are putting no pressure. Number two, we're not closing off the boards. Number three, I guess we are covering the middle option. So if that pass comes across, boom, immediately we need to go hard pressure. And then the gaps need to be filled. So Fee would need to come up and cover up that middle option, with Hilson covering off that board option. So how does this unfold? Lots of time, and eventually comes up. But eventually we should have been able to close this off quickly and maybe shut it down there. However, we don't have enough pressure, and therefore we have a free pass up on both times. So I think forechecking will be a common theme. We will see. Here's an unfortunate mistake. So the D's going for a change right now. Pass out to the middle, pass to the corner, perfect. But Fee doesn't look up and see that we're coming late, and then unfortunately gets thrown out of the zone. So kind of one of those things where it's just settle it down, look for the passing options first before we do anything. Do not blindly assume anyone is there, because even though you can expect someone to be there, if they're going for a change just like this, if they don't have enough time to get there, then it won't happen. So here's another example. I would almost call it, are we just too afraid that they'll outskate us because they are better? You're just giving them too much space. Just watch how little pressure we put on this player. He's got 10 millennia to find an open space. So this was really silly. Justin comes off, and then Mike and Alex. It was supposed to be Mike shift. Alex decides he wanted to get on the ice first. And then gets a good chance, like double chances right here. So Hilson goes over to Kathy. I think she misses the net. Gets it over to Alex. He misses the net. Two good chances right there, but couldn't finish. Let's break it down. I think there is a couple mistakes in terms of Breakfast Club. So, ooh, what happened here? So Athena gets it, looks up, decides to pass it up the middle. I can see that's how it gets blocked. Looking for the Peter pass. I think keeping it simple, bouncing off the boards, will probably be the winner usually. But again, maybe it's just Kev was coming in decently fast. Not that fast actually. Coverage wise, a little bit late to the party to Kathy. And then who's right D? I think it's Athena, right? Or is it supposed to be Will? Hard to say. Oh, maybe it's Will. I don't know. Okay, well, anyways, one of them should have been covering, right? And so everyone is off, focused on Kev and Kathy, and then left Alex wide open in the net. So two big chances right there. And so it's just a little bit of missed coverage defensively. I'm not even sure who's supposed to be right D, left D. For that one, it'll probably Kathy would have been left D's responsibility, and then Alex would be right D's responsibility. Alright, defensive mistake. Once again. Alright, quiz time. Where's the forward line? That is the line of attack. We should be gapping up to that. We're not focusing on the puck carry. Why are we focusing on the puck carry? Well, that means, why would we transition to this? This is the forward line. Bang, bang, boom. You're on the line. We should be gapped up to this line. Therefore, that means Ernest is way too close. which also means that can happen. Completely walked around, but Ernest is able to pick up enough speed to catch up to Peter. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a positioning mistake there. Another mistake. This time, instead of Fee, it's Alex. A little too excited. Not looking up. So you can see Ernest is not here. Therefore, and then just the turnover, right? And even if Ernest was not like, so number one, Ernest is not there, so that pass would have just gone out of the zone. Number two, if you looked up, you would have seen that it would have been intercepted. So just a little bit of scanning the ice before we pass. Oh, we got a little bit of forechecking pressure from a Breakfast Club. Dave tries to skate through the middle, gets picked off, and so we're a little bit of a panic mode, had to get that stopped up. Of course, D2D passing will usually break that pressure up. Otherwise, yeah, a little scary moment right there, for sure. Alright, positionally right here, defensively, a little scary. I'll freeze frame right here. Actually, we'll cut back a little bit. So Will goes around Justin. Not much we can do there. But, holy smokes, that's a little scary. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what we need to do. It's usually going to be one of the D has to focus on this person. Now, I understand Ernest sticking with this player. So, Dave's got to make that decision. Which is the bigger threat? Layla, or I'm not even sure who's in front of the net. Now, generally, the one that's closest to the net is going to be the most dangerous player. So, Dave's got to make that decision to go over here. Of course, this does open up this player up for a pass. And then if it's a right-handed player, it could be a one-timer opportunity. It's also dangerous. It's understandable. But with 4 people against 3, you're just going to have to accept that there's going to be a little bit of a disadvantage. So we got to be close enough to disrupt or stick lift, and then at the same time try to be in the passing lanes. Now in this case, Ray was able to intercept the puck, so no harm, but got a little sketchy. We just got to be careful and mindful of who are the biggest threats, and of course it's going to be the ones usually generally closest to the net. So I thought this was a pretty funny attack, and I'll explain why it is funny in just a moment. But first, it kickstarts with Ernest rimming the puck around to the other side. Now the puck goes a little funny, Layla rims it back to the other side. And now the puck goes back to the right side, and they rim it back to the left-hand side. I don't know if there's going to be another. And then now it's rimmed back to the right-hand side. Now it's rimmed back up the boards, but then finally, eventually, gets in. Now, positionally, let's rewind it back and kind of explain. Well, I'll talk about what I would consider is from here it's fine, rimming it back around, but notice how all their players, there's only one net front and one on the high slot-ish area, but no one on the support position where you can form little beautiful triangles, and therefore the adventure of going right to left continues, and the same thing happens, right? So Mike was over here. He, instead of going back down to the Gatorade sign to forming nice beautiful triangles, they're again kind of clumped together and on a line. So what does that mean? That puck's going to go back to the other side of the world and then back up the boards. So it just becomes a little awkward. At that point, I think there must have been a call for a pass to drop it back, and therefore that's why that happened. But I thought that was pretty silly. Alright, we got a big mistake coming up right here. So Ernest is playing Will very, very hard. Unfortunately, Will's already scored. Right, 1-1 came off of Dave. So he's got to pay attention to what are the threats coming in. Boom, one coming in. Backcheck is a little bit missing from our center. So that there is a numbers disadvantage. So that drop pass, Ernest gets absolutely carried off to the other side of the world. And now we have Mike having a big opportunity to get a lead goal, but did not capitalize on that. So we got a dangerous chance coming up for Breakfast Club. Defensively, it comes all garbled up just simply because of this play right here, where Carrion comes down to cover the lefty that has come down and collides with Michael. Now at this point, if you see that happen, Alex is probably going to need to switch up and cover this player, because this is going to be the pinnacle of what the dangerous things are. Now he sees this far side right winger and decides, you know, I don't want to put pressure on this player, even though Carrion is down. So I will venture off to a person that doesn't have the puck. And that should be Dave's responsibility. As long as he's gapped up well enough, it should be fine. So this would have been normally Alex's responsibility. So he leaves the D to come in on attack. What does that mean? That means now Hilsen's going to be pulled off his coverage. And then of course this is going to be Dave. As long as Dave sticks up close to him, it should be fine. But we get spaced out a little bit, and then a give and go. This is all Alex's responsibility, and allows her to walk in to make this fancy play. And because he didn't cover her, Ang, who was supposed to be covering this player, gets pulled over. And then Alex, who decided he wanted to go from here all the way over here to cover this player, isn't even covering this player, and therefore he gets a big rebound chance. I do want to note the stark difference between the forechecking of Breakfast Club versus us. The speed. Look at Peter and Layla going in. The only thing is he's gone so fast he does a flyby. That's unfortunate. But nonetheless, there is pressure. So if he didn't go too fast, I think he might have been able to get the puck off of Dave. But the noticeable thing is there is pressure. Something I would say that we were definitely lacking on our forecheck for the entirety of the first period. And here is another one where, like, Justin, I think he has the hands, he has the strength to really take control of it in the boards. But here's another one where he kind of throws it to the middle. You know what? I can see it. He's probably trying to get it to Fee, but maybe not enough force. But I think at the same time, if he's able to kind of get good control of it, he's got options. He got Ray down there. He's got Dave to get to as well. So I think maybe not taking advantage of his strengths. Alright, we got another defensive scariness going on. I do want to see what happened. So Will skates by Ernest, understandable, and then stops up. Oh goodness. Okay, what do we do differently? So I think maybe too focused on trying to get to it on the outside, and then not paying enough attention to the threats. Will's already scored, so what's the concern? What's the focus there? We got to identify the threats. We got 1, 2. So left to right open. Scary stuff. So we did talk about gap. Breakfast Club is on the attack. I think I would have expected Athena to be in the zone, at least to help out. But I suppose Will's skating is so strong he can cover as 2. And then, yeah, we talked about it defensively. Where is the offensive line? You can say it's kind of starting off here. So we want to start gapping up, at least starting playing defense up here. Ooh, oh my goodness. So Athena's all the way back here. So free zone entry, right? We've kind of talked about that. I mean, if he loses it, but right, it's a free zone entry, so that means potentially a free shot. All right, I think this is something more for Dave Eng. I've noticed maybe too committal with his crossover, so you can see he's got the gap, he's spacing up, we're about to attack on the blue line, and he transitions over right to left. Now he's right-handed, we might have to accept or expect that he might do a little toe drag up to the middle. So I think he bites a little too hard right here. You see how they move right there, and therefore he's able to cut to the middle. So I think just be a little bit careful of how aggressive you're going to be going out to the outside, because it's okay for them. I would say it's this way, in my opinion, it's going to be better for them to walk around the outside than it is to open up and potentially cut to the middle and split the D. Right, if we lose you, then it becomes 2-on-1, and you know, things can get pretty scary pretty quick. Fortunately, I don't think anything happens here, so we're okay. We have some defensive scaries going on right here. Save coming up, gets forechecked, turnover. Ernest is playing Will way too hard and gets bitten up. Drop down to Will, and everyone's so focused on him. Where are the threats? This is a threat, this is a threat, that's a threat, all these threats coming in. Who's covering what? Oh my goodness. Bing, bang, boom. That's another chance. Very scary. Everyone is puck watching. Oh, turnover. It would be nice if Mike was able to cut like that, but it's okay. So I want to showcase something. Most of the times, a superior skater is going to be able to skate around someone that has pressure. But note that Mike's putting pressure on Will. And as long as you're staying close to them, you're going to be fine. Now, forechecking wise, we've broken this down. We need someone putting pressure on this. At that point, right, we're trying to tighten up this cage. Therefore, most obvious options for passing is going to be up those boards or up that middle. If not, they're going to try to skate it up themselves, and that's where the importance of this pressure guy comes in. Now for center is as long as blocking center option passes, which is probably going to be this player right here. As long as we're close or in the lane, we're going to be in good shape. And Carrie Ann is going to need to cover these boards. So 1, 2, 2. Right? So what happens here? Tries to send it up the middle because Mike tries to cut out. Gets blocked up by Carrie Ann. And in the zone. But the important thing is we are putting pressure. So that's going to be a little bit of stark difference. And I think Mike is really the only one forward on our team that was putting any semblance of forechecking pressure during this game. Alright, so we see here, this is when Will injures himself. Ooh. Tries to do a tight turn. Looks like his knee. Just gave out. Didn't look so good. So Justin's got very good back pressure. That hustle back covering, so that's good. I just would like to see him channel that on the forecheck, and he would be a menace for sure. Something other of note, so a little But on Shinny mode right here, on that forechecking pressure, right? Look at this. Just cruising along, no pressure. Snoozing. But we do eventually get it, and then we just throw it to the middle. Like we put in, I'm gonna sarcastically say, all that hard work to get the puck, and then we throw it in the middle. Alright, here's a sequence that's going to lead up to the Breakfast Club goal. Peter keeps it in, throws it deep down, and there is pressure on Dave. One thing I do want to make note of, putting him on his backhand, so it's going to be a little bit of an awkward scenario for Dave to get it out. Now he can double up, like tight turn back around, but just like that, a little forced chip pass up. Alex is a little too far up, so it's a turnover. Ernest recovers perfectly fine, takes a look. Who could he pass to? Well, decides no one, so he wants to carry it up himself. And turnover. So turnover by Peter, and the most important aspect right here is Layla's able to keep it in right before it passes over the blue line, and Oliver D decided to almost leave the zone. Yikes. One guy has snuck behind. Well, let's see how this unfolds. Curls back around. Throws it to the middle, so we almost are able to get it out. Tries to chip it through the middle. Oh, mistakes were made there as well. Everyone's getting too excited. Dave and Ernest, I guess our maximally offensive defenseman, says, I don't want to play defense, let's go play offense. And bad things happen. A lot of bad things happen. All starts with, well, you know what? I think the biggest mistake is we recovered, no pressure. Stop here behind the net, take a look. Let everyone get into position instead of going Shinny mode and trying to force it through the middle in heavy traffic. I mean, this is heavy traffic. We got 1, 2, 3 people converging onto your location like homing missiles, and it bites us in the butt. Alright, something bad happens here. I see. Well, okay. First of all, here's a forward. We're way ahead of it. Alright. I understand he's trying to gap up, but he does not start his retreat early enough. And he's coming in with a lot of speed. Dave gets flat-footed as well. Oh boy. Very scary. Misses the net. Had Layla on the back door. I think perhaps she may have let up early. May have needed a little bit more hustle to get there, but even then it looked like Hamza was going to shoot that all the way. You know, I guess we got two complete spectrums. In one case they were playing extremely conservative. In this case, far too aggressive. We're gonna find that happy medium, so we don't both problems don't happen. All right, interesting. Defensively, our left wing is here and doesn't quite get back into position, and therefore potentially we could have had some trouble, but thankfully pass was off the mark and it's out of the zone, so we are safe. Now let's watch our forechecking pressure. Okay. A little bit better in terms of Kathy's side, but then the supporting cast. So Yep, main theme of the day, forechecking pressure. So Kathy puts pressure on Will, perfectly fine, that's what we expect. And then Justin needs to close off those boards. You can see quite quickly why. Boom, just skates around. So if we were able to get there a little bit quicker, maybe we had a chance. But again, you know, better skaters will usually be able to skate out of their problems. And so that's just the name of the game. 18 seconds left. Don't need to play Will so hard. So what is the dangers? We got one on the back door. Oh my god, that Ernest almost scores on our own net. Said Dave, don't feel like you need to be lonely. I would like to try as well. And so that's the second period. Alright, offensively right here, I did want to point this out. So Kev gets it and a little bit of pressure. Carrie-Anne has a sport. I would like her to be more here rather than be kind of behind the net. The reason why I say that is it gives you opportunity to step out and turn and shoot, or even do like a wrap. So it's quicker in position, and it also gives you a grid lane to look for Justin. Justin opens up this way, so it ends up being a pretty big triangle rather than kind of like a smaller, tighter triangle that I'm a bigger fan of. But it's fine, it's still a triangle. But this does open up the opportunity for Eng. And weak side D, so he's the weak side D, meaning puck's on the right hand side, he's left hand side. He's has that freedom to gauge, hey, well, if no one's going to cover me, right, look at all this space that I can sneak into. If no one wants to take this spot, you know, that's pretty juicy right there. And if Justin was here, that also opens up like the juicy laneway on that back door that you can open up into. So Kev's a little bit on Lonely Island, and he's kind of, I guess he feels like he's forced to try to feed through 1, 2, 3, 4 sticks. The obvious answer is it gets through somehow. But that's certainly not the norm. So we switched from second period to third period. Fee is our right wing, but she, as you can see, she was playing the left hand side. Why do I note that? I'll tell you a little bit later. But why don't we continue on with this clip? So we bring it up the boards. We would have expected a right wing there. Fortunately, she's down in the left hand corner. So we have no pressure up on the point. And naturally, what does that mean? It means our center and our left wing are going to get drawn that way, and that creates holes into the middle. So defensively, it becomes a bit of a problem. This is also a little bit of a struggle. So much open ice, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the D's on that left hand side of the ice, which means vast ocean of space. And she decides, let's give it to Alex, where he's surrounded, absolutely surrounded by the opponent. So why don't we make life difficult for him? Oh, this is a spicy meatball right here. Defensively, Will is on mic, and therefore we gotta identify where are the threats on the Tumblebees. The center is a little bit late covering number 9, Ray as well, but the big threat on that back door, left D's responsibility. Absolutely left wide open. Luckily for them, Kathy misses the net. However, left D's responsibility. Missed coverage there. Alright, here is a little attack from Breakfast Club. Probably shouldn't have resulted in such a dangerous chance. But, oh, looks like Ernest tries to trip it up, hits the ref. So what's the problem here? It's coming in on the attack. Probably too focused. Oh no. I guess we let up the middle. Again, one of the things we also want to keep a note of is where is their forehand. If you can bias yourself and force them on the backhand, going out this way, it's always going to be better. But let's put it this way, that shouldn't have happened, especially with that many people back there. Yeah, I think some of the forechecking pressure is just the fact that Will has the puck a lot, and we just are afraid to get him, I guess. I don't know. But it's just, you know, free puck handling. Just make him sweat a little bit, even if he's going to skate around you. But let's pay attention. Where are they going to... The passing options up here. As long as we're just kind of staying focused on who these passes can get to. Our D is a little conservative, I guess. Here's that line. If we can gap up a little bit, would be better. Kathy almost gets a chance to intercept that one, but not too bad. So after we told Ray he can score again because we are down, comes here loading up. We're expecting Ray's patented toe drag shot. Passes it in the corner to Mike. Oh man. We need a shot from you, Ray. Alright. We had a big chance right here. I'll just show it anyways. To send it over to Mike. Mike couldn't handle it to get a good shot off. But here's another focus. Where is the threats? Oh boy, what happened? How did this sneak behind us? Just sent a little bit too far ahead, so she couldn't handle it. But yeah, getting caught a little bit too far up the ice. So scary things happen. Alright, 2 minutes left. I'll let it run the whole way. Why not? So far, it's a pretty good game. I've been trying to narrow it down to kind of really obvious mistakes or learnable mistakes. If I did not feature you, it's either you didn't get the puck much or what you did with the puck was fine, or now this one was crazy. I gotta rewind this one. Face-off win. Backhand pass to Justin, net front, lost all the way alone. Right D, Joe decided to go up aggressively instead of leaving it to the center and the wingers. And gets bailed out by Kev. Mr. Lou himself, keeping the game 2-1 for Breakfast Club still. Crazy stuff. But in any case, yeah. I didn't want to feature too many highlights. Don't want to make the video too long. And in any case, if there wasn't much said, I don't think there was any thing that you did wrong or notably video worthy, I suppose we can say. But in any case, a minute left here. Had a chance. I think that pass could have gone up to Justin, so missed opportunity by myself there. I need to rewind this. I don't know what happened. So caught a little flat-footed, that's for sure. So I think this is kind of like that same problem where is the line, and we're just the gapping is not close enough, and therefore you have to become flat-footed and let them come to you before you can backwards skate, so you don't have the speed. And so dangerous stuff happens. Gets another chance for Michael. Now we have a minute left. Forechecking pressure. It's all about that forechecking pressure. And let's see. Do we have... So I thought this would be icing. Normally, because they sent it out from here all the way, and he touched it all the way down. So why is it not icing? It's back in the zone already. Well, that's too bad. In any case, 30 seconds left. Gotta get that forechecking pressure. Where is that forechecking pressure? Here we go, 35 seconds left. Shot, shot, missed the net or save, hard to tell. Roughly 15 seconds left. And game over, 2-1 game. Pretty close game, actually. I think we got a lot of chances. Either we missed the net or Kev made the save. And obviously a lot of chances for Breakfast Club, by Breakfast Club, and also by Tumblebees members. One of them scored against our own goalie. The game is 2-1. Pretty fun opener, and everyone is now getting back into shape, working off that 1 month break.